Good morning and welcome. Welcome to our Flower Communion Sunday. If you did not pick up a flower on the way in, if you didn't bring your own, you may at any time during the beginning of this service go grab one, because I want you to have one for later in our service. So again, good morning and welcome. I'm Reverend Katie McQuaige-Lucas. My pronouns are she and hers, and thank you for joining us for this Flower Communion and for the first Sunday in Pride Month. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived with us today in body, in mind, in heart, in spirit, whether you've joined us here in this room in person or you're coming to us online, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time, you are welcome here, and we are glad that you are here. If this is your 500th time, we are glad that you are here. No matter how you came, no matter how often you've come, we are glad to be together. My opening words for us this morning are from Thomas Rhodes. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell. All of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are.
Good morning. Cheryl Henry will light our chalice this morning. Symbol of light and knowledge, symbol of warmth and freedom, we light this chalice as a symbol of our faith. Here we gather to celebrate hope and the infinite possibilities of love. Please stand and body your spirit and join in singing the Sweet June Days, number 65 in the Gray Hymnal. We gather here to seek the unity of spirit in the midst of diversity, to heal the wounded and confront the oppressor, to instill joy and confidence in our children, to grow in mind, body, and spirit ourselves, and to bear witness to the transforming power of love. beyond which not a single atom nor soul is lost forever. Please join me in saying our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant with one another.
Our responsive reading this morning is number 548 in the Gray Hymnal. Number 548, Summer Warmth by Helen Cohen. Please join in with me on the italicized text. We stand at the edge of summer. The sun has at last warmed us enough that we begin to trust in its presence. The last burst of spring blossoms, lavender and white and deep pink banks of rhododendron are giving way to summer peonies and roses. O source of the turning seasons, of earth, of life, of promise gradually becoming fulfillment, may your people find a lightening of the burdens with the brightening of the sky.
So this is the second day of Pride Month. So to kick off Pride Month, we decided to do something for that. If you're gay, then you're gay.
Don't pretend that you're straight.
You can be who you are any day of the week.
You are unlike the others, so you're warm and unique, and we're all with you. Well, if you're straight, well, that's great.
You can help procreate and make gay little babies for the whole human race.
Make a world we can live in where the one dual love is not an issue.
'Cause we're all
somewhere in the middle. We're all just looking for love to change the world. Ooh.
What if the world stops spinning tomorrow?
We can't keep running away from who we are.
If you're gay, then you're gay.
If you're straight, well, that's great.
If you fall in between, that's the best way to be.
You got so many options, every fish in the sea wants to kiss you.
Mwah! 'Cause we're all
somewhere in the middle. We're all just looking for love to change the world. Ooh. What if the world stops spinning tomorrow? We can't keep running away from who we are. And we're all here in it together. We're one step closer to breaking down the wall. Everyone is gay.
Hooray!
Good morning. My name is Gloria Miller, and I am the Director of Religious Education here at Bay Area, and my pronouns are she, her. 100 years ago, a minister in Prague named Norbert Čapek wanted to reimagine worship in his community. He had been raised Catholic, but left seeking a wider theology and became a Baptist. Over the years, he read a lot of history, especially religious history, and he wanted to move toward greater religious freedom. He reached out to American Unitarians, but it wasn't until he moved to the United States that he was able to join a Unitarian church, meet American Unitarian leadership, and build that relationship. He and his wife, Ma, returned to Prague to start the Liberal Religious Fellowship. That fellowship included people who had been Catholics and Protestants, and some Jews as well, So bread communion was not an option. He didn't want to remind people of what had divided them, but rather to create something new to bring his people together. So the flower celebration was born. He probably wasn't the first to do something like this, but the way he did it became part of the story as Unitarian Universalism. And so we remember him and his communion. Each person brings a flower to create one enormous bouquet. The flowers can come from a garden, from the roadside, from a shop, and each flower is beautiful in and of itself, with its own color and fragrance. Each of us brings who we are into this community, our gifts, our beauty, our unique being. We come together creating something more than the sum of its parts when we combine our gifts and beauty into one community. It is not a full merging, for we are always ourselves, and ultimately we will separate again. But it reminds us that we do this over and over, coming together for a moment as we build community every week and then re-emerging into the world. And our time together changes us. After the bouquet was gathered and blessed, each participant received a different flower than the one that they had brought. This is not just a historical reenactment to remember what he did in Prague. This is also a meditation on who we are. We are a community of transformation. The gifts we receive from others are transformative, and we in our own turn transform the lives of others in our community.
So in a moment, I'm going to invite you to come forward and offer your flower to create our communal bouquet. And you're also welcome at that time to move over here and light a candle, as we do almost every Sunday. Know that you bring all that you are, all those bits and pieces, the glorious flower, and then whatever you might need us to hold with you at the table. So we will begin by bringing forward the remaining flowers in the vases in the back. And for those of you who were not here this morning, or for those of you watching online, and for those who are not here this morning, these flowers we offer as our starters. I invite you to come forward now as you feel moved and add your flowers to the bouquet, and when the vase is full, we'll simply pile them up on the baskets. And we're going to light 2 candles today for 2 very special joys. Some of you have picked up on the fact that we dropped language of acting from Gloria and John's titles a little while ago. In your wisdom, when you hired them, knowing you had a new minister coming, you weren't sure you wanted to commit, but I'm pretty sure I want to commit. So we're lighting 2 special candles of joy that John and Gloria are now fully in their roles as directors of music and religious education. And now let's take a deep breath and settle in to our sacred time and space. And I invite you to join in with me in prayer. Spirit of life and love, we see you shine in the flowers we have gathered, in the way that we come together into a bouquet of glorious color and personality, somehow becoming more than we were, simply by being next to one another. Open our hearts, move our spirits, and make us new in all the ways that matter. Refill us with a certainty of our own worthiness and belovedness. Open us to empathy and compassion so that we might be touched by the lives of others, as beautiful and as worthy of love as we are. In a moment when the glorious profusion of our diversity is threatened, give us the strength to side with love again and again and again, as often as necessary, until our whole world sees the beauty of its people. May those among us who do not fit the neat and tiny lines of society's ideals be strengthened and upheld by the love of this community. May this community remain raw and sensitive and furious in the face of oppression and disdain, in the face of traumatizing legislation, in the face of brutality and pain. May those of us in need of healing and wholeness find it here. May those of us with love to give find it overflowing onto those in need of it. May we be proud of ourselves, of one another, and may we rejoice always in the beauty we co-create together. I would like to close our time of prayer with Norbert Čapek's original prayer from 101 years ago. It is in your order of service if you will join with me in a unison prayer. So this is his original consecration of the flowers. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. Amen, and may it be so. Our prayer in song is number 8 in the gray hymnal. It's Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, and it was written by Čapek and I believe translated into English by his daughter Zora. Please remain seated.
Our reading this morning is That Which Holds All by Nancy Schaefer. Because she wanted everyone to feel included in her prayer, she said right at the beginning several names for the holy. Spirit, she said, Holy One, Mystery, God. But then, thinking these weren't enough ways of addressing that which cannot be fully addressed, she added particularities, saying, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Ancient Holy One, Mystery we will never, ever fully know, Gracious God, and also Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, Thou. And then, tongue loosened, she fell to naming superlatives as well. Most creative one, greatest source, closest hope. Even though superlatives for the sacred seemed to her probably redundant, but then she couldn't stop. One who made the stars, she said, although she knew technically a number of those present didn't believe the stars had been made by anyone or thing, but just luckily happened. That which has been present since before the beginning, she said, and the room was silent. Then, although she hadn't imagined it this way, others began to offer names. Peace, said one. One my mother knew, said another. Ancestor, said a third. Wind, rain, breath, said one near the back. Refuge, that which holds all. A child said, water. Someone said, Kuan Yin, then womb. Witness, great kindness. Great eagle, eternal stillness. And then there wasn't any need to say the things she thought would be important to say, and everyone sat hushed until someone said, Amen.
Gloria shared with us the origin of the flower communion 101 years ago. And we've gathered together today to create this symbol of our bonds to one another, but the story is not yet complete. And there are many reasons that Čapek's celebration spread so rapidly around the world. At the time of the flower communion, between the two world wars, he had returned to Czechoslovakia to rebuild his beloved homeland, as it became an independent nation in those interwar years, and his church grew to 2,800 people, and it had outposts in other towns. And we know what happened in the 1930s. His country was once again threatened, once again invaded. And by 1939, Germany had annexed and occupied, and Czechoslovakia was no more. American Unitarians, particularly those in the Boston offices, reached out and offered him assistance and said, come, we will find you a job here, come, and he would not go. And he said, I must say that my conscience would make me very unhappy if I were compelled to desert my people in these days. I therefore feel that I cannot leave my people, no matter what sufferings may be involved. His Unitarian theology made room for Jews in his congregation, and I don't know about Prague in particular, but I know that in other parts of the world, Muslims have also joined Unitarian churches at times, and so he was able to shelter them as they attempted to flee untenable positions under Nazism. He listened to forbidden radio broadcasts and encoded messages. He learned to preach in parables and in stories and to pass news through his sermons. He learned to encourage his people in subtle ways to defy Nazism, and he felt that his people needed him too much for him to go. His wife Maya did come to the United States. She came to fundraise, and she went on an exhausting speaking tour across the whole country. And she brought the flower communion with her. She began at First Parish in Cambridge before bringing it to other places on her travels. The minister there, Dr. Pennington, brought the idea to the board in 1939. It's in the minutes from the worship planning meetings. And so in the spring of 1940, they enacted the flower communion in the United States for the first time. By that time, the secret police were attending Čapek's services in Prague. They were investigating him and many other religious leaders suspected of disloyalty to the Nazi regime. In 1941, Čapek was arrested for treason. He was cleared of treason charges, but was still labeled too dangerous to be allowed to live, and so by 1942, he was in Dachau. Records show that the Nazis imprisoned 2,720 clergy, specifically clergy, at Dachau, of whom 1,034 were put to death. Most of those clergy were Catholics, but there were Lutherans, there were Eastern Orthodox priests, and even some Muslims there on the priest block. Depending on who was in charge, the ability of clergy to do rituals among themselves might vary. But there is a story told that one day many of them gathered twigs and weeds and did a small flower communion together. And whether this story is true or not, we do have letters, multiple survivors testifying to Čapek's gentle spirit of encouragement and care for his fellow prisoners. Many people credit him with such sustaining faith that it was contagious, a reminder of God's grace in a truly terrible place and time, and something that helped those survivors struggle forward. In October 1942, Čapek's name appears on an invalid transport train, which we know means he was sent to be gassed. Those of his family who remained in Europe received an official notification of his death, but they had no reason to believe it. They'd heard rumors of his escape as well, and they clung to that hope all the way to the end of the war. And his wife Maya had no news at all. No letters ever made it to her from any family members until the war was over. By then, she had settled in Cambridge, and so she was present once again at the annual, by now, flower communion at First Parish in 1946 to memorialize her husband with commentary on what she called, in the dated language of the time, his festival of brotherhood. She said, "As no two flowers are alike, so no two men are alike, yet each has a contribution to make. Each one could help make this world as beautiful as the colorful bouquet. Organized and growing into a true brotherhood, we are ready to serve one another, the nation, the world." This time we are now living in bears some uneasy echoes of that prior era. We witness rising religious intolerance, rising bigotry. We see people being pushed to the margins after they had managed to gain some small measure of ground in the center. We Unitarian Universalists are a people who choose wholeness. We choose to bring everybody in, to love them and to accept their love, which can sometimes be the harder thing. We don't just accept, we don't just tolerate, we see the sacred nature of every person and we honor it. We see the beauty in each and every one of us. During our last hymn, you will be invited to take a flower with you, to remember that as you brought us your beauty this morning, so did many others. And together we become something more than we were on our own. You are invited to take it with you to remember that beauty can be a form of resistance in the face of horror, especially those horrors we human beings cause to one another. To stake a claim to beauty amid sorrow is an act of courage and an act of defiance, and it is most of all an act of faith. Faith that a more peaceful world is possible, faith in a world transformed by the movement of the Spirit through it, faith in ourselves, in the certainty that we are made to be gifts to this world, even in our imperfections. And it is from that place of faith that we are called to service, to bring our own steadfast love to a world in desperate need of it. We recognize that just as the beauty of our world is transformative for us, so can our own beauty transform the world. As we enter Pride Month, know that each of us is sacred, that all of you is sacred. Know that you are beloved and worthy of that love and more. Amen. Now let us enter into a spirit of gratitude and generosity as we think on our own abundance and share that abundance with this community. Now is the time for our offering. For those of you who are visitors, if this is your first time or even your second or third, please know that your presence is gift enough, and we are glad that you are here.
Please join me in saying, "This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world." We have some announcements today of ways you can join in the life of this congregation. After today's service, please join us in Cockrell Hall for BAUC's inaugural Pride Picnic. It will be a jam-packed day of family fun with games, crafts, and more. We've got the hot dogs, fixings, and potato salad covered. If you don't want to sit outside, we will have tables set up inside Cockrell Hall. Calling all young adults, please join us Saturday, June 8th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the church for a game night with our newly bridged members. Feel free to bring your favorite board game, card game, puzzle, or any other activity you think might be fun. We will provide snacks and drinks. See you there. Next Sunday, June 9th, families, parents, and children, bring your appetite and a dish to share for a delightful family potluck lunch. Please join us at 12:30 p.m. in Cockrell Hall for this fun-filled gathering. While the children play and are cared for, parents can engage in meaningful discussions about parenting topics. Don't miss out on this perfect blend of food, fun, and parenting insights. And finally, here at BAUC, we understand the importance of staying connected with our community. That's why we offer a weekly newsletter every Tuesday with the latest news and events happening at church. Don't miss out on the opportunity to engage in meaningful activities and connect with fellow members. Sign up for our email list today using the QR code on the screen or by going to bauc.org and join our community of spiritual growth, fellowship, and fun. Our closing song today is Dazzling Bouquet. The lyrics will be on the projector. Charlene will sing the verses and the congregation will join in on the chorus. And please remember to come forward and pick up a flower to take home with you.
Well, mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we've got space for more. Come here, all you 6-foot gladiolas. Come, all you purple lilacs shining bright. Come, let us all bloom together in one garden. A carnival of fragrance and delight. Yeah, 'cause mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we've got space for more. We don't simply tolerate each other. We ask and tell, we don't just turn away. We give attention to every bud and blossom. Let every face come grace the grand bouquet. Yeah, 'cause mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we've got space for more. Our demons keep trying to divide us. They document their lies and make them true. Today we're freed from our judging and excluding. Just look around and enjoy the lovely view. Yeah, 'cause mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we've got space for more. One more time. 'Cause mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. So jump in the vase, it's a real good place. Jump in the vase, we've got pizzazz. Jump in the vase, 'cause we've got space for more.
And we could use another round of applause because I'm sure that many of you knew our staff was this talented, but some of you didn't. So another excited round of applause. And please feel free to keep coming up to get your flowers if you haven't already, but I will have my benediction for all of us today. Seek out the beauty of this world and let it transform you, because you are the beauty transforming someone else, even if you don't even know. So go in peace, go in beauty, go in love, and let's go get some snacks.